Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markel.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And, well, especially thank you. Actually, Jared, what I want to do right now is I want to take a moment. Take a very special moment. And these don't come around but every 6 to 7 months now. I want to say thank you to everyone in the Student of the Gun listening audience. All of you who have been there for several years now and have been with us for a grand total of 400 episodes. That's right. And it's not 400 shows, actually, because it's way more than that, is it not, Jared?
Yeah, we've got it probably 6, 7, maybe 800, because we did a lot of 2 and 3 parts.
Way back when, we were doing episode 4, part 1, episode 4, part 2, and that kind of stuff. So,
but that was only once a week, so we've probably got at least double. I
don't know if we have double, but we've got more than 400 actual shows in the can.
Yeah.
But, ever since January of 2015 that we started doing 4
every single day.
Week. Yeah, every.
That was that long ago?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So. I'm pretty sure. Time flies, it is. But thank you, everyone who has been with us for. If you're brand new, well, welcome to the party. But I know that a lot of you guys out there have been with us all the way back from the early days when we had one microphone and what the original soundboard had, like what, 2 dials on it or two faders, or it was small.
Yeah, it had 2 inputs. And then a connection to the computer, which was USB.
And that was it.
And I couldn't even listen to the show being recorded on the computer. It's funny.
I'm swallowing my coffee. There you go.
It's funny how time goes.
Hey, time flies, and now you have the super board with the dials and the faders, the Darth Vader.
Yeah, I could actually use, if I had 2 more inputs on this board, it would be great.
Really?
Yeah, we're getting to that point.
You know, if you need another soundboard, you know where you should go.
Where?
Dad's Super Pawn.
Oh, do they have stuff?
Yeah, when I was over there talking to Daryl is my Class 3 guy. He's my Class 3 silencer trader guy. That's the dude that I go through. And while I was waiting, it was really busy the other day, and I was waiting to talk to him. Guess why Daryl is really, really super busy?
Because of the 41F.
Because you can't see my hands because this is radio, but I'm holding my hand about 1.5 feet off of the table. And he said, he goes, I have that many Form 4s stacked up on my desk back there that I'm getting ready to process. But while I was waiting for him, I was browsing around because Dad's Super Pawn is the biggest gun store in Harrison County. And they also are a Class 3 dealer and all that. But they also do, they're a pawn shop too. And that's just, but they have speakers. They have amp systems. And I was walking around and I saw that
Dad's Super Pawn is a SilencerShop.com distributor.
Yes, they are.
Dealer, I mean.
Yes, they are. I actually talked to Daryl about that. And he said he'd signed up with them. So, but my point is this, they actually had soundboards. They had soundboards of various sizes.
So is Kelly's.
Oh, Kelly is too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Over in what city is he in?
Picayune,
Mississippi, which is basically you can throw a rock from Picayune into Louisiana. So, okay. But here we are, episode number 400, and we're going to talk today about slaying dragons. And slaying dragons, you're like, slaying the dragon, what's that all about? Well, actually, that materialized from a conversation that I had with a good friend of mine, E.J. Owens, just yesterday afternoon on the telephone. We've got a lot to talk about. Are we still congratulating No, we're not going to congratulate him anymore.
We're going to congratulate Nick Ellis, though.
I'm sorry there, Ryan. I'm erasing your name from the show notes, and I'm replacing your name with Nick Ellis. Okay, so congratulations to Nick Ellis, who was the second winner of an Ox Beyond Rugged coffee box. Yes, good stuff. Good stuff.
If you did you see that Ryan posted some pictures?
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
No. Of his box?
Yeah.
Ryan got his ox box.
With a coffee cup that said, "Because we don't need your permission." And he had
really?
a SWAT fuel bottle. And
where did he put the pictures
at? Dave Spalding's book. And maybe he just sent those to me for approval.
Yeah, maybe he just sent, because this is new to me.
No, I'm pretty sure he put them up somewhere, probably on Instagram.
Okay.
I can go find out. No, I can't.
Well, whatever.
I don't have a phone in here.
Yeah. And you might be sitting over there on the other side of the microphone all jealous, thinking, how come I didn't get one, man? And, well, the reason you didn't get one is because, I don't know, because you didn't get chosen. But you still can. We've got one more Ox Beyond Rugged coffee box to give away. And the way we do it is, what you have to do is on Friday mornings, or, well, anytime, but Friday mornings is a good time as any, when we do the live morning mindset, you have to tag 2 friends in the comments. And that means that you actually have to put a little blue hyperlink in there. You guys know that. You know, Jerry, we still have people that just, like, put their friends' names in the comments.
A little blue hyperlink?
Yeah, it has to be. When they tag people, it has to be a little blue hyperlink.
I thought they were black, like a bold.
You don't know, it's blue. When you tag somebody, it becomes a hyperlink.
On my phone, it's black.
Really?
It's just
Why has it got to be black, man?
Yeah.
That's racist. No, I'm pretty sure it's blue. Well, it needs to be clickable. How does that sound?
If you type the @ symbol, and then your person's name, it'll usually pop up with like little list of people to select. You select their name there, and it'll tag them.
Well, I've got a hint for you guys out there in the. I know that you guys, some of you are not computer savvy, but if you just type your friend's name into the comments, your friend doesn't know that. But if you tag them, then they get a little message that says, hey, your buddy Phil tagged you in it, and you might want to go check it out because it might be something cool that you're interested in. And then you're like, oh, hey, I am interested in that. Like, for instance, my son Jared tagged me in something about an 82-year-old man who was on TV singing Bodies. So that was pretty cool. Anyway, what?
Real quick,
go
disclaimer,
ahead.
I'm pretty sure I've already said this before, but I'm going to say it again. If you tag somebody and they report the post, then you are automatically disqualified from winning anything that we give away. So
if
you tag a douchebag, then you are also a douchebag.
A hippie liberal douche, and then they're like, "This post offended me." No, what? Right here, Jared. It's blue. It's a blue hyperlink.
I think that on my phone, I know it's black. So most people use their phones.
I don't know why it's black.
And if you're watching the video,
I don't know why it has to be black.
If you're watching the video on the phone, then you need to back out of the video, tag the people in the comments, and then open up the video again. It'll take 2 seconds.
Okay. Well, I think we've sufficiently confused our audience, and so now it's probably time to move on. All right, Slaying Dragons, we're going to talk about that. And here we are at episode number 400. I got a black carbon steel microphone in front of me with a pop filter. I'm inside of the glass case of emotion. And the reason that I'm able to do this, and the reason that you're able to listen Monday through Thursday free for nothing, costs you not one single penny. All it costs you is your time and attention. Well, the only reason that you can do that, and we can keep the lights on and the AC running because, yeah, it's hot in Biloxi now, is because of our friends at Crossbreed Holsters. And Crossbreed Holsters, they are the makers of the Super Tuck Deluxe, also known as the Bruce Jenner Commemorative. But they make more than that. They make all kinds of things. The Purse Defender, the Bedside Backup, the Freedom Carry, the Women's Appendix, lots of stuff. They make belts. Is a belt important, Jared, or is that just...
Yes, belts are important.
But I have a brown leather belt hanging in my closet that my wife bought me at JCPenney. Isn't that the same thing?
Until it breaks.
Yeah, until it breaks.
When it breaks and you're like at a concert or something.
Or it's like 2-3 a.m. and you're on duty and your belt breaks because you thought that because it was the same color as your holster that it would work, and it didn't work out that way, and you're a young dummy and you learned your lesson. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. CrossbreedHolsters.com. Frog Lube, it's green, it's minty fresh, it's extreme. And you can get it from froglube.com, or you can get it from Brownells, or you can get it anywhere you want. I don't care. Just get it. And Century Arms. Century Arms, the sweetest melon arms maker in the U.S. of A. Is that not correct?
Are they really?
I believe so. At least Dina is. And that's the only one that counts when it comes to smelling sweet, right?
Yeah,
yes.
I would hope so.
All right, Wednesday. For all of you who've been with us for all these years now, you should know that Wednesday is SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk Day, and we've got just a super happy, fun song for you to listen to.
Physically fit, physically fit, physically fit, woman, physically fit, woman, nice, sweet, fantastic, big your body out in the big tight and woman, nice, sweet, energetic, big your body out in the big tight and woman, nice, sweet, fantastic, big your body out in the big tight and woman, nice, sweet.
I want to take some time today to talk about making small deposits in your life, in your fitness, in your bank accounts even. Now, if you think, I'm going to take the fitness route here, and I'll talk about that first. Making small deposits, going to the gym at least every other day, you're making small deposits in your fitness. And what you'll need to do if you ever have to defend yourself is you're going to have to make one large withdrawal from that bank. Okay, so if you don't go to the gym, if you don't train, if you don't teach yourself, or not teach yourself, but if you don't have somebody teach you and you don't train, practice the stuff that you learn, then you're not making those small deposits that you're going to need eventually when you make that one big withdrawal. Hopefully you never actually have to make that big withdrawal, but if you do, you want those small deposits to be in there. And you take that over to money. It's the exact same thing. You make small deposits every day into the bank or every week, and then you go on vacation once a year. That's still one big deposit, one big withdrawal. If you take the withdrawal and you haven't made the deposits, then the money's not going to be there. And
no, you're absolutely right. And it's like, you know what Yeager has said? He's equated training and practice to car payments, to buying a car.
Yeah.
Like, how does everybody buy a car? How do you buy a car? How do most humans? Now, I know some of you out there, you're like, hey, I just go and pay cash for it because I have, tens of thousands of dollars laying around the bank. Hey, and rock on. If you're that kind of person, go team. But most human beings do this. They go and they pick out a car that they want. And they say, yes, that is what I want. And they say, okay, well, give us a deposit. And a deposit is going to a training class, learning how to do it. So you go, you sit down with a professional, whether it's jiu-jitsu or whether it's boxing or whether it's shooting or whatever. You go to that guy and you make a big deposit, right? You make one. And then you leave there and you go back to your own little world, to your own little range, your own little gym, and you make regular deposits or payments, right? Make regular payments. They're not huge, but you need to do it all the time. You can't just tell the bank, oh, I'm not going to pay you for 3 or 4 months, but eventually I'll give you a really big one. They're going to say, no, that's not how it works. We need it every month. So you make the payments every month, and eventually, what do you own? Well, you own the car, right? And it's the same way with your training and your skill. You make those deposits. Unfortunately, a lot of people think that you can just make one, but you go to a class. Well, I took a class. I went to a seminar. Okay, well, when's the last time you actually made a deposit, practiced, made a payment on that car? Well, I didn't. I would get that all the time. I would encounter that all the time, Jared, and we've talked about it, is people would come to our training, and they'd say, oh, I know what I'm doing. And like, oh, you do? Yeah, I've had training before. Okay, well, when did you train? Oh, I took the HK, whatever class in, 97 or 2002 or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, it's been 12, 13 years. what have you done since then? Nothing.
I think a lot of the problem, or I think the main problem that people have is that it's a daunting experience. If you like, I'll put it in like retirement. If you look at it and you're like, okay, I need to maintain $4,000 a month for the rest of my life. By the time I'm 65, I need to have $2 million saved up. So if you look at that and you're like, oh, okay, I need $2 million, then it's a daunting experience. But if you break that down into, say, you're 25 right now and you need to have that by your 65, you've got 40 years. So you've got 40 years to put into the bank $2 million. Break that down into a yearly deposit or a monthly deposit or a weekly deposit, then the numbers get smaller the further down you go. So rather than when you're, especially in the fitness world, rather than saying, well, I need to go, if I can't work out for an hour, then I'm not going to work out at all. Just do a 10-minute workout. Make that small deposit today.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
And
if you have 5 minutes to work out for 5 minutes. It's not that big of a deal. Just do it.
Then you can look yourself in the mirror and say, yes, I did something.
Yeah.
Oh, and well, Jared, people get that way. They let themselves go. Everyone experiences various soft periods in their life where they let themselves get soft. And eventually, hopefully, you get to that point and you look in the mirror or you look at the scale. Now, the mirror lies, but the scale doesn't.
Yeah.
Take that little tidbit with you today. The mirror lies, but the scale doesn't. Because in the mirror, you'll see what you want to see, but the scale doesn't care about your feelings.
Yeah, but at the same time, you could be super fit and be heavy.
Well, yeah, I know, but from
if you can't walk up a flight of stairs without
a basic standpoint is, I was fat. I got fat. I got soft, but I would look in the mirror and I would not see somebody that had 25 pounds too much on their body. I wouldn't see that. I'd suck in my gut and I'd look and I look all right. But the scale doesn't lie. The mirror lies, but the scale doesn't. My point is this, though. Let's say that you decide, all right, I need to drop 30 pounds. 30 pounds all at once seems like a lot.
2 pounds a week.
But if you drop, 2 pounds a week, and then another
That'll
2 pounds a week,
and
another
months.
2, and then another 2, and before you know it, bam. You know who said it to me best, or it gave me a really cool example? When I dropped 25 pounds, Dr. Dan, I was on the phone with him, and he said, go into the weight room and pick up a 25-pound dumbbell. He says, that's how much fat you removed from your body. And you hold that 25-pound dumbbell, and you're like, wow. Yeah, that's no kidding. That's a lot. It's considerable.
There's some people in the combat culinary group that I'm in, and they've lost like hundreds of pounds. So if that's you, if you're listening to me right now, do what Dad just said. Go put 100 pounds on a bar and pick it up. That's how much fat you took off your body. That's crazy.
That's crazy. All right, so there you go. That's your SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk for Wednesday for this 400th episode of Student of the Gun Radio. And if you want to get going, well, get your butt over to SWATfuelstore.com, and that's how it is. It's SWATfuelstore.com. Use the promo code SOTG2015, and you are going to save yourselves some money.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a free training video series called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. We want you to have access to this life-saving information. Get instant access now at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of those questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Everything SOTG. That is the central hub. People are like, well, what's this deal with your book? Or what's the deal with the TV show? Or what's the deal with the training or whatever? If you go to studentofthegun.com, that's the central hub, and that will lead you where you need to go. And you might have a friend or a neighbor or somebody, and they're like, what's this thing all about? What's this guy all about? Tell them, go to studentofthegun.com and explore from there. Now, we mentioned Brownells earlier, but you know what Brownells has besides Frog Lube and besides ammo and magazines and all that jazz? They have Duracoat products. That's right. They have Duracoat products, and life is too short to have an ugly gun. And one thing that you can get from Duracoat is their super cool gun tats. And there's an official student of the gun tattoo. And the reason that exists is because of you. Yeah, you. Yeah, you guys listening out there. We were on the phone with Steve Lauer. We did an interview with Steve, and he says, I just walked by one of the computers, and they were answering an email from one of your fans that said, hey, when are you going to do a student of the gun tattoo? So he said, well, I guess we probably should make that happen. And they made it happen because of you. That is the power and influence of the student of the gun listening audience. Pretty cool, huh?
It is pretty cool, and we will be choosing the winner today, actually. It's at the end of the day. We'll do it at the end of the day, so look in your emails tomorrow morning, and if you have one from us, that's your cue to let us know how to contact you and get you on the radio.
Yeah, and make sure that you actually that you're checking your email, that you use one that you check once in a while. 'Cause you never know.
Well, here's the deal.
Jared could be sending you an email to tell you that you are the lucky winner of blank.
Yeah, here's the deal. I've set up our system so that if you don't open or click anything within 60 days, then you drop off, and I stop emailing you because I don't want to email people that don't want the emails, and then people that don't want the emails obviously don't want Dad or I to email them.
Right, exactly. They don't want us to give them cool stuff. So, all right. We haven't had this Religion of Peace update song in a while. And
Update song?
Yeah, we haven't heard this update song in a while, and I'm kind of excited. So hit it, DJ Jazzy Jared.
Das geht an die Oma des letzten Propheten Mohammed sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ich bin Allah so dankbar, ein Muslim sein zu dürfen. Das geht an die Oma, wir sind die Oma. Check das aus. Bismillah. Islam ist die Wahrheit.
Yes, that is one of many things that you're only going to get here. You are only going to get the Religion of Peace Mixmaster DJ Jazzy Jared version right here. You'll get it nowhere else. People are like, where can I go and get that? You can't. This is the only place in the world that you're going to get it, because every time we play it, DJ Jazzy Jared's over there on the other side, and he's mixing it.
I don't have a preset button for that one.
He's mixing it just for you guys.
It's different every time.
It's every time if you listen. But it's always good. It's different, but it's always good. I just got this in an email, and I mean, it is literally just happened. And I threw it in as quick as I could into the show notes, and I said, hey, thanks for sending me this. And it's from Louisiana, our neighbor. And it is it's a House resolution. It's a House resolution number 170 by Representative Ivey. And it's from the Louisiana State House, obviously. And it has to do with international affairs. And this resolution requests law enforcement and governmental agencies to avoid and suspend contacts and outreach activities with the Council on American Islamic Relations, also known as the Committee to Apologize for Islamic Reprobates. That's CAIR. Let's dig into this resolution. A resolution to urge and request law enforcement and governmental agencies in Louisiana to avoid and suspend all contacts and outreach activities with the Committee to Apologize for Islamic Reprobates. Whereas the Federal Bureau of Investigation has suspended all formal contacts with the Council on American, blah, 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 CAIR, Islamic Reprobates, due to evidence indicating a relationship between CAIR and Hamas, a designated foreign terrorist organization. How many years, Jared, have we been saying that CAIR is a front organization for Hamas and other goat rapist terrorists? We've been saying this for quite a long time. And we called out those scumbags at Best Buy. Remember when Best Buy took a bunch of money from CAIR and made them like a silver banner supporter, and we contacted them, and they had this super lame, we like to be inclusive of all viewpoints and blah 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 blah. So like terrorists. So you guys at Best Buy, you like to be inclusive. You like to include Islamic terrorists. and 7th century death cultists in your functions and organization, huh? Well, we don't like to judge. Oh, you don't like to judge monsters that are killing American citizens every chance they can get? You don't like to judge those people, huh? Best Buy? Yeah. And for those of you who this is new, you're like, what? Best Buy took money from CARE? Yeah. Jared, how amazing is it to you that you bring up stuff like that and they're like, I never heard that.
You know why they took the money?
Because it was money?
Because they care.
Because they care, yeah. Here he goes. Whereas one of CARE's directors was sentenced to a year in federal prison for violating U.S. sanctions against Iraq, funneling money to terrorists, and whereas a CARE director in Virginia pled guilty to terrorism-related financial conspiracy charges. Here's the deal, kids. Terrorists, even whether they're goat rapists or whether they're communists or whatever, they all need something. They all have one thing in common. They need money. And CAIR is an organization that are a front organization. They don't actually, you're like, well, the council, those guys don't actually go out and blow up schools and shoot people in Paris hotels and stuff. No, they just gather money. They go out and they put forth propaganda, and they try and get people to think that the 7th century death cult is not violent. I don't know how you do that. And then they funnel money to their buddies who actually do go into, theaters in Paris. And do you guys remember that, or have you forgotten already? Into subways, into churches, into malls, and so forth, and just slaughter people outright, because that's what missionaries of the 7th century death cult do. It says, he was pleaded guilty to terrorism-related financial and conspiracy charges, which resulted in a federal prison sentence. Whereas a communications specialist and civil rights coordinator for CARE trained with an al-Qaeda-tied Kashmir organization that is listed on the State Department's international terrorist list. So their civil rights specialist went over and trained with al-Qaeda. Oh, that's nice. I'm sure he was learning lots of good stuff. And has been indicted on charges of conspiracy to help al-Qaeda and the Taliban battle American troops in Afghanistan. Okay. And it continues. It's not over yet. Whereas CARE's former community affairs director pled guilty to 3 counts of bank and visa fraud and agreed to be deported to Egypt after he funneled money to activities supporting terrorism and published material advocating suicide attacks against the United States of America. These illegal activities took place while he was employed by CAIR. And it goes on. Here's the deal, folks. The CAIR, the Committee to Apologize for Islamic Reprobates, is a front organization, is a political propaganda organization to try and convince your moronic, mush-brained, soft-skulled neighbors that, everybody, the religion of peace, and they... Shut up. They're a front for the actual terrorists that are killing Americans and free people all over the world. And we applaud Representative Ivey of the Louisiana State House, and this was in the 2016 regular session, House Resolution number 170. Now, my question to you out there in America land is, why hasn't every single state organization, state representatives, why haven't all your legislatures taken up very similar resolutions? I think it's fantastic. We're going to post it on the Student of the Gun Facebook page, and now you, as a Student of the Gun listener, are aware of it. Thank you very much. Jared, why don't you talk to the kids for a second while I go ahead and sip some coffee, because I need to do that right now.
Okay. Well, I want to do something before. Are we going to move on to the next subject? Because I have an opening song for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've been watching this, and I'm almost caught up and it's called Slaying. The thing that we're going to be doing is called Slaying the Dragon, so I have to play this.
Go for it. How many of you have goosebumps? How many of you have chills? Oh, yeah. For like the 4 people in the listening audience that don't know what that is the theme song for Game of Thrones, an HBO series. And it's addictive. It really is. It's the biggest show on planet Earth right now. And there are dragons in the show.
It's really hard for a show to keep my interest, but I'm in season 6 of this, so obviously it's kept.
Have you made it to 6?
Yeah, we're on episode 4 of season 6.
Oh, so you're almost caught up?
Almost caught up.
All right, congratulations. So we can actually start talking about the show in front of you now, or at least soon.
Yeah. You know what Zach told me the other day?
What?
He's like, screw work, go catch up on Game of Thrones. It's like, just go binge watch it so you're done and you don't have to think about it anymore.
Because Zach and I are all caught up. We binge watched last year when we had the HBO Go app, and we started and we caught all the way up and we got current, and then we had to wait for season 5, then we had to wait for season 6, and so we're current. So what'll happen is we'll all be at lunch or what have you, like the day after, like Monday, and we want to talk about it. And Jared's like,
don't ruin it for me.
Like, can you believe that they killed that guy?
Yeah.
Can you believe that she died, that she drowned, or whatever? You know, but can you believe that she died at the end? That's my favorite thing to do. Is people like, dude, can you believe Captain America died at the end of that movie?
Yeah.
Like, shut up! No, he didn't.
They have no idea.
Slaying the Dragon. Slaying the Dragon. I was talking with my friend E.J. Owens last night, or yesterday afternoon on the phone, and we were talking about firearms trainers in the United States of America and how they have different opinions and different ways of looking at things. And EJ and I have several mutual friends, and then he knows certain people that I don't know, and I know certain people that he doesn't know. And he called me up and he asked me about a friend of mine. He said a friend of mine actually had put up a video, and it was on Facebook, and people were like, what's up with this guy? He's a nationally recognized firearms instructor. But EJ's like, is he pissed at somebody? Is he angry at somebody specifically? And I said, I don't really think so, but I mean, he might be. So we got to talking about the different styles and the different ways of thinking when it comes to martial training. And when I say martial, I mean art of war kind of a thing. When many people in the firearms training community come from the law enforcement field, and they're career law enforcement officers, and they base what they teach other people, how they teach their principles and techniques. And I'm not talking about grip, stance, front sight focus. I'm talking about the actual tactics, carrying guns, using guns in the gravest extreme and so forth, how you should behave as an armed citizen. And they base that on their experience, on their life experience. That's the way humans are. It's very natural. And then you have, on the other end of the spectrum, you have people that are career military. They spent, 20, 30 years in the Army or the Marine Corps or the Navy or the whatever. And while they were in, they did some type of firearms training or instruction or what have you. And so when they get out, they're basing everything that they teach and discuss and talk about on their life experience. And unfortunately, when you spend your entire life in one single organization, and I see this a lot in military, we have there's a disease, and it's called institutionalized stupidity. And we get really wrapped up in the 3-ring binder. We get really wrapped up in the PowerPoint. We get really wrapped up in we teach this because. Well, why do we teach that? Well, because it's in the 3-ring binder, because it we have an officially sanctioned and blessed PowerPoint from Virginia, and that says what we're supposed to teach. And you say, well, yeah, but like I encountered this quite often. We would get directives when I was working full-time for the military. We would get a directive from Virginia, and they would send it down, and they'd say, this is what you guys should do. You need to teach this and this, and this is how you should teach it. You should teach it this way. Well, the guy in Virginia that was writing this up, he wasn't actually on the physical range with 100 students, 12 coaches, a lead instructor, safety officers, and 100 students. He wasn't out there. He didn't know how it worked in the real world, but he knew how it looked on paper in an office and say, like, you need to do this. And we're like, yeah, but when we do this, these are the problems that we encounter. Well, it never occurred to him that those problems would ever, would materialize because he wasn't actually doing it. And often what we have is people they get institutionalized. They're blessed with the 3-ring binder. They're blessed with the officially sanctioned material, the officially sanctioned POI, the period of instruction, or the course, right? And even though it might look really good or work here or work there, it doesn't work everywhere. But unfortunately, when you spend your entire career doing one single thing, it's really difficult to look at a situation from another angle. Now, from the law enforcement angle, when you're a cop, if you're a career cop and you're a career police law enforcement instructor, you look at it from the personal defense, but we're trying to, what are cops trying to do, Jared? Are they going into like, Taliban held villages or Al Qaeda strongholds and whacking people and so forth? And no, they're not. Cops, their whole thing is based upon how do we effect an arrest. Now, I understand if like you get into a gunfight with somebody that you're not effecting arrest while you're shooting at back and forth with them, but your end goal is to participate in the system, the judicial system, right? And that begins with locating the bad guy. You locate the bad guy, you arrest the bad guy, you charge the bad guy, then the bad guy gets arraigned, then the bad guy goes to trial, then the bad guy may or may not get convicted, then there may be a plea deal, then there da-da-da-da-da-da. That is the system, and that's the system that police officers operate in. And I'll give you a good example of one of my friends and mentors in the law enforcement training world, who I've known for 25 years, I guess now, a guy named Ed Nowicki. And Ed is a fantastic human being. He's a fantastic instructor, and he is a career cop. Well, he was a career cop. He's not a cop anymore. But Ed, after 9/11, and I remember this very specifically, after 9/11, I think I wrote this in one of my books. I'm pretty sure. But and when we found out that Osama bin Laden, was the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks, and then they made him like public enemy number 1, right? He was the most wanted guy. And Ed wrote an article, and he wrote it for law enforcement officers. I think he published it in the Law Enforcement Journal. He said, and he opined, if you were to encounter Osama bin Laden, and when he said you, he meant police officers, you were to encounter Osama bin Laden in a traffic stop or in a back alley or what have you, would you have the professional, I guess, be professional enough or have the professional discipline to do what's right and arrest him? Or would you feel the need to actually shoot him and kill him, that kind of a thing? And I read it, and of course, police are like, oh yeah, Ed's right, man. That's our job is not to do. And you know what? Law enforcement officers' jobs are not. They're not to seek out and kill enemy combatants. That's not what they're doing. But what Ed missed out on, and like I said, Ed, I have a lot of respect for him, and a lot of other law enforcement instructors that they miss out on, is they think that a war, which is what we're engaged in, and I know Comrade Barry surrendered on your behalf, but when we're engaged in war, war is not a police action. And I was talking to EJ, and I said, you know what it is, brother? I said, we don't know how to slay the dragon anymore. We don't want to slay the dragon, the evil, the monster. The dragon is a representation of evil, right? The representation of your mortal enemy, those who would destroy you if given the opportunity. Instead of slaying the dragon today, here's what we try to do. We decide that, well, slaying the dragon would, if you're going to do that, do you go out, if a knight was going to go out to slay the dragon, would he just grab his everyday dagger and, or how does he go out to slay the dragon? He takes everything with him, right? Every weapon at his disposal goes to the field. I'm going to slay this dragon. I'm going to wear all of my armor. I'm going to carry my biggest sword, a lance, spear, crossbow, bow, whatever. I'm taking everything because I'm not taking any chances. The end goal is the dragon must be killed. I have to find the dragon, and I have to destroy and kill the dragon with anything I have at my means and disposal. Now, if you engage a war like that, then what you do is you go into the war and you say, okay, this is my enemy right there. That's my enemy. He's pre-designated. I know who he is. And I'm going to take every weapon that I have at my disposal, and I'm going to destroy my enemy. I'm going to slay the dragon. But today, we don't want to slay the dragon. Instead, we think that, well, we're going to find the dragon, and we're going to arrest him. We're going to charge the dragon, arraign the dragon. We'll try him. Maybe we'll convict the dragon. And then the dragon will go away for a while, but maybe the dragon will get paroled out, or maybe he'll get a plea deal or what have you. Folks, that's how we're trying to fight our wars. We're trying to run wars against monsters that want to destroy us, and we're treating them like a police action, like a law enforcement issue. We're not using every single thing we have. We are not using every weapon in the arsenal. We're trying to engage in a war like a police action. We have been fighting the war on terrorism all way back before 9/11. Go back to 1993. And before that, the last president of the United States of America that treated terrorism like a war was Ronald Reagan. You guys remember when terrorists blew up the disco in Germany? Yeah, you don't remember this because you're Americans and you have the attention span of a gnat, and B, it's been almost 30 years or more. But yeah, Libyan terrorists put a bomb in a discotheque in Germany, West Germany at the time, where they knew that American servicemen frequented. And they killed a bunch of people, maimed a bunch of people, and then they went out and they bragged about it. And they said, "Death to America, ha ha ha, we kill your servicemen." And you know what Ronald Reagan said? "Oh, really?" And he sent the U.S. military to bomb the ever-living crap out of Libya. And he did. He pounded them. He killed one of Gaddafi's kids. Not a little kid, but his son. And never forget this. When we launched the attack and we sent bombers to Libya, we launched it from England, from our bases in England. And it would have been quicker to fly straight line over France to Libya. But guess what? Remember this, America. France denied us permission to fly over their sovereign airspace because they didn't want to get involved. How many of you remember that? Jared, did you know that?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and remind you, Mr. and Mrs. America and world, France, the cowards that they are, when the Libyans bombed and killed our people, and we were going to strike back at them, we requested permission to have our planes and our bombers fly just over French airspace to get more quickly to their targets. France turned them down. So they had to fly all the way around. I think it added another 3 or 4 hours or something like that to the flight time. because France didn't want to get involved. Here's all we asked them is, can we fly over your country? We don't want men, we don't want troops, we don't want bombs, we don't want anything. Can we fly over your country? Oh, no, we don't want to make the goat rapist angry at us. So when you're like, oh, I stand with France. I don't stand with France. Fornicate France.
Didn't France help us in the Revolutionary War, though?
Yeah, okay. 200 years ago. What have you done for me lately? Says Janet Jackson. They helped us because they didn't like England. They wanted to stick it to England. But never forget that. So the last president who actually treated terrorism like an act of war was Ronald Reagan. For the last 20-plus years, we've been treating terrorism like a police action, and it's been a failure. It continues to fail. It's failing today. It's been failing for 15 years because we no longer know how to slay the dragon. We think that we can arrest the dragon. We can put the dragon in jail. Ladies and gentlemen, from top to bottom, this nation has lost its will to fight. We think that we can reason with evil, and we can arrest evil, and we can try and put evil in jail. There's only one solution for the dragon. The dragon must be slain. And until we figure that out, it's not going to get any better. Thank you once again. This was an extra special long episode of Student of the Gun Radio, but thank you for being with us for 400 episodes. And guess what? I'm going to start all over. We're going to start the clock at 1 tomorrow with episode 401. Remember, you're a beginner once, but you should indeed be a student for life. And
you know what I want?
What do you want?
For our 401st episode, I want there to be more people listening than have ever listened before. So please share this.
Share it, freaks.
Share Student of the Gun Radio on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, whatever podcast app you use. Share it with at least one person.
At least one
I would
person.
say 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or 20 or however many you could reach, but at least one.